everyone, and welcome back to our English learning podcast. Today, we are going to discuss one of the most popular questions among English learners around the world. Should you learn American English or British English? If you have just started learning English, you have probably asked yourself this question: which type of English is better? Should I learn American English or should I learn British English? Many beginners spend a lot of time thinking about this decision. Some even delay learning because they are afraid of choosing the wrong one. The good news is that there is no wrong choice. Both American English and British English are correct. Both are spoken by millions of people, and both are understood around the world. They share the same grammar, almost the same vocabulary, and the same basic language. The differences between them are usually found in pronunciation, spelling, vocabulary, and a few everyday expressions. Let's explore these differences and discover which one may be the best choice for you. First, let's talk about pronunciation. Pronunciation is usually the first difference learners notice. American English has a smoother and more relaxed sound. American speakers usually pronounce the letter R very clearly. For example, words like teacher, car, water, and computer have a strong R sound. British English is different. There are many British accents, but the one most often taught in schools is called received pronunciation, or RP. In this accent, the R at the end of many words is softer or sometimes not pronounced. Neither pronunciation is better. They are simply different ways of speaking the same language. The second difference is spelling. Some common words have different spellings. For example, American English writes color. British English writes color. American English writes center. British English writes center. American English writes favorite. British English writes favorite. American English writes organize. British English often writes organize. Although these spellings are different, English speakers understand both versions without difficulty. The third difference is vocabulary. Sometimes Americans and British people use different words for everyday objects. For example, Americans say apartment. British people usually say flat. Americans say elevator. British people say lift. Americans say truck. British people say lorry. Americans say vacation. British people usually say holiday. Americans say gas. British people say petrol. Americans say cookie. British people often say biscuit. These differences may seem confusing at first, but they become easy to remember with practice. Another difference is pronunciation of certain words. For example, the word schedule is pronounced differently in American and British English. The word advertisement is also pronounced differently. Many vowel sounds are slightly different as well. The more you listen to both accents, the easier it becomes to understand them. Now let's answer an important question. Which type of English is easier? There is no universal answer. Some learners find American English easier because they watch Hollywood movies, YouTube videos, Netflix series, and listen to American podcasts. Others prefer British English because they enjoy British television, literature, or educational materials. The easiest English is often the one you hear most often. Another important question is, which type of English is more useful? Again, it depends on your goals. If you want to study, work, or live in the United States or Canada, American English is usually the better choice. If you plan to study or work in the United Kingdom, British English may be more practical. However, if your goal is international communication, business, travel, or using the internet, both varieties are excellent. Today, English is an international language. People from different countries communicate with each other every day using English. Most of the time, they understand both American and British English without any problems. Let's also talk about technology. Many of the world's largest technology companies are based in the United States. Most programming tutorials, software documentation, online courses, podcasts, and YouTube channels use American English. Because of this, many people naturally become more familiar with American pronunciation and vocabulary. On the other hand, British English has a long educational tradition. Many international schools teach British English. Several English proficiency exams are based primarily on British English, although they usually accept both forms. One thing that surprises many learners is that native speakers themselves understand both varieties. An American can watch a British movie, a British person can watch an American movie. Sometimes they notice differences, but communication is rarely a problem. Another mistake many learners make is trying to learn both varieties at exactly the same time. At the beginning, this can be confusing. It is usually better to choose one variety as your main focus. Once you become comfortable, you will naturally understand the other variety as well. As your English improves, you will probably hear both American and British English regularly. You may even begin using vocabulary from both. This is completely normal. Many fluent English speakers mix expressions without realizing it. Another important point is accent. Many learners worry too much about sounding exactly like a native speaker. They ask, how can I sound completely American? Or, how can I sound exactly British? Remember that your goal should not be perfection. Your goal should be clear communication. A clear accent, good pronunciation, and confidence are much more valuable than perfectly copying another person's accent. Millions of successful professionals speak English with their own accents. They communicate confidently in international companies, universities, conferences, and business meetings. People respect clear communication much more than a perfect accent. So, how should you choose? Choose the English that matches your interests and future goals. If you enjoy American culture, movies, podcasts, and technology, American English may be the best choice. If you enjoy British books, television programs, universities, and culture, British English may be more enjoyable. Whatever you choose, stay consistent. Practice every day, listen every day, read every day, speak every day. Remember that fluency does not depend on whether you choose American or British English. Fluency depends on consistent practice. At the end of the day, American English and British English are simply two beautiful varieties of the same language. Neither one is superior. Neither one is wrong. Both open doors to education, travel, technology, business, and international communication. The most important decision is not choosing the perfect variety. The most important decision is starting today and continuing tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. We hope this episode has helped you understand the similarities and differences between American and British English. No matter which variety you choose, keep learning, keep practicing, and never stop improving. Every word you learn today brings you one step closer to fluency. See you in the next episode, and have a wonderful day.